Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl Shantae back with another episode of Chatting with Shantae. How in the world are y'all doing? Me, I am doing amazing. I had me a good old girls trip, okay? Reunited with a couple of my best friends. We had a good old time, okay? Houston, we had no problems, all right? It was much needed, much needed break from work and just life and just having a good old time catching up and reuniting. So I feel like I haven't done anything productive in a good long time, but I'm back and we're rolling. So I did make it a point during this trip to watch The Chi because y'all know I was not missing this. So this episode was intense, emotional, jaw-dropping, basically what we can expect for the rest of the season because, honey, all of our fan theories and predictions, they're either getting answered or denied, okay? Were you right? Because this episode here, episode 6, yeah, a lot of our predictions, you know, they got answered. So were you right in some of it? Were you wrong? Like, how'd it go for you? Okay, I know I was right in some things and I was way off on some other things. So if you haven't watched the episode just yet, I would advise you to pause this, whether you're watching me on YouTube or listening to the podcast. Pause this, go watch and catch up, and then come back because your girl don't do spoiler free and we got some things to talk about, all right? So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified when I drop a video, and let's get it, let's go. Y'all know how I do it. I do storyline by storyline just so it flows a little bit easier for me. And if you see me looking over, it's because I'm looking at my laptop because I have my notes typed out so I can stay on track. All right. So I'm gonna start with the grown kids because listen, they're stressing me. All right, they're stressing me, but in a good way. So we got Kevin, Jake, and Gemma. So we all know the big blow up that happened last episode when Kevin caught them kissing, and we were gonna see how they were gonna, act afterwards. So they're all in class, and Jake and Gemma, they're not trying to hide nothing, okay? They're giggling, they're flirting and things like that, and it's pissing Kevin off. It's pissing me off too because it's quite disrespectful. But anyway, so Kevin throws a pin at Jake trying to get his attention. Jake kind of shrugs it off and ignores him. So Kevin's taking that to heart. So he's like, you don't see me? You ain't trying to talk to me? And Jake's like, I ain't even got nothing to say. Gemma's trying to tell Kevin to stop being childish and things like that. So Kevin ends up getting up and pushing Jake, and they start fighting. Kevin punches Jake in the face and all this other type of stuff. So the teacher's trying to break them up and stop them. In doing so, he ends up getting punched in the face. Well, not really punched, but elbowed in the face by Kevin, which results in him getting a busted up nose, breaking his nose. So everyone is like, well, everyone is stuck like Chuck. Do you understand me? Everyone's like, well, that wasn't supposed to happen. So Nina is just over it, okay? So we did find out Kevin did get suspended indefinitely, which is a fancy way to say he's expelled, okay? And I'm quite surprised it took for him to get expelled or suspended indefinitely, because I said when he got drunk and high at the college trip, I was like, I'm surprised all you got was an in-school suspension. So all right, but Nina is just at her wit's end with Kevin. She just has nothing for him, okay? If Gone Girl Give Us Nothing was a person, it would be Nina in this scene. And after finding out he got suspended indefinitely, she's like, if you want to ruin your life, go ahead. I don't care. And she storms off. I was like, well, Nina, all right, I understand, I can understand as a parent. Well, I'm not a parent yet, but I can imagine that, when you've done all you can do with your child, you try fussing at them, you try doing this and that, and it just seems like nothing is working. You kind of get at your wit's end and you just have nothing left. I understand, but damn, Nina, damn. So Dre, she's there and she's telling Kevin, listen, the way you're going about things at this time in your life is really not good, okay? You're messing up a lot of things. These are important, pivotal moments of your life. And the more you mess up now, you're going to be regretting it and paying for it later. Now, he asks if they're going to punish him. And she's like, listen, we've done all the screaming and the fussing and the punishing we can do. And we're still here. So that's obviously not doing anything. So yeah, you can go ahead and hang out with Papa, do what you want to do. But don't take my kindness for weakness. And we're not done. So I was like, well, go ahead, Dre, go ahead. And it was interesting to see Dre take on that authoritative role because even though her and Nina have been together for quite some time now, that's still their step parent. So I can imagine as a step parent, like, you want to show your authority, but you never want to cross any lines because you're not their birth parent. But the way Nina stormed off, she was like, I ain't got time for y'all. And that left Dre to do what she had to do. So Kevin's talking to Papa or whatever, and Maisha just explaining what's going on. And in doing so, Jake and Gemma pop up. So this is kind of like a little ambush situation, even though Papa said it wasn't, but whatever. Excuse me, I'm actually about to take these earrings off because they are kind of noisy and I don't want the podcast listeners, complaining. They were for cutes, but we got to be productive. Anyway, so they're talking and those two pop up, and of course Jake and Gemma didn't know Kev was there and vice versa. So at first they're like, listen, I don't know what you got going on, Papa, but this ain't gonna work. And so he wants them to talk it out on his show and things like that. So they reluctantly agree. So it's not really that much of a conversation as it is an argument, and Jake's really not saying too much. It's more so Kev and Gemma, because obviously it's their relationship. So he's calling her a homie hopper, and what did you see in him that you don't see in me? What's good? What's this and that and the third? And she's like, listen, you're not passionate about anything. You only care about yourself and nothing else. If you were different, then maybe we could work something out. And he's like, well, I loved you. I care about you. So what are you talking about? And then he tells Jake, listen, I know you feel like I didn't have your back, but I always have your back. And Jake said nothing because he knows that's true. So they're talking and arguing and stuff like that. And Kevin ends up leaving because he's just upset, which I would have left as soon as they popped in the door, because you ain't finna stress me out, all right? Thank you. So they're at his house, Jake and Gemma, they're at his house trying to decide if they should continue to try to apologize to Kevin or whatever. And Jake's whole stance is, we can, but it's not going to change anything. It's not doing any good, especially now that their friendship has really dissolved at this point. It's like, and Jake does make it a point to say that he loves Kevin and that's his brother, but he can't be living his life for Kevin. He has to do what makes him happy. So Gemma's like, well, where do we go from here? And Jake is like, well, we got to do what makes us happy. So they end up kissing, and kissing turns into making out, and making out turns into almost having sex, but they get caught by Trig and Imani. So Imani takes Gemma downstairs to the basement, to the hair salon, and Trig is giving the birds and bees talk to Jake. So Imani is basically telling Gemma, I know you're embarrassed, but listen, when I was your age, I got caught doing way worse. And as long as the sex and sexual acts are consensual and you're protecting yourself, I'm not here to judge you. Just be careful. And on the other hand, Trig is telling Jake, listen, I know you've been having sex, but we still got to have this talk. You think sex is just sex, but it's much deeper than that. It's a connection that you form with the person. You want to make sure that you're being gentle with her heart and not just trying to get off. So at first, Jake wasn't really understanding, but the more Trig talked to him about it, then he started getting, into it. And he did say Gemma is different. So does he really care for her? Because a lot of people are like, he's probably just going to play her, get a few things of sex out of her, and that's it. Or, I don't know. And for Gemma, I can see why she would be enticed by Jake, only because she's not used to the bad boy type. Kevin is far from a bad boy, okay? And then I'm sure the guys that she dated before Kevin or talked to before Kevin were in that same environment as her, goody two-shoes, good standing, wealthy families, So dating a bad boy, a gangster, whatever, such as Jake, is really thrilling to her. But how long is that going to last? Because listen, not to come too hard on Jake, even though he's trifling, but we know how Jake talks about women, okay? He refers to them as bitches and things like that. I don't chase bitches. I'll never tell a bitch, things like that. And, for Gemma, that's all different. That bad boy, roughneck type is all, enticing right now. It's fun. It's thrilling. It's exciting. But after a while, that's going to get old, and you're going to start taking those bitches a little bit too personally. And, well, oh girl. All right. So Kev is volunteering at the community center, and Dre is there doing her thing too. So he's with Emmett, and they're serving food to the people, and Emmett can tell that something's going on. So Kevin tells him about Jake and Gemma and getting suspended and things like that. So this was a good moment for Kevin, for him to have a male figure trying to give him some words of advice, because we know Brandon was that active male figure in his life prior to being killed, and he never really had a real connection with his father, and he had his male friends that were the same age, so they could only offer so much advice, and they're going through their things. So it was good to see he and Emmett come back together and connect, because they did have a brief moment a couple seasons ago or last season where they connected, but it wasn't as strong as his connection with Brandon and things like that. So Emmett basically told him, listen, life, as you go on, it's going to throw some shitty stuff at you. But in those moments, it's not for us to dwell in the feelings of it, but more so for us to figure out what the learning lesson is, so that we can make sure those things don't happen to us again. So that was a good sound piece of advice. I was here for it, okay? So again, Kevin got suspended indefinitely. So he's at the school with Dre, and that's how I knew Nina is done, because she couldn't even make it to the meeting. She was like, nah, Dre, you got this. I'm tired. So Dre is there with him, and Kevin is basically pleading his case. He wants to stay at the school. He loves the school. He's appreciative of the opportunity he got to be at that school, and he wants to apologize for his behavior, you know, not just in this incident, but all the prior incidents and things like that. So it's really coming from a heartfelt place. It's genuine. It's sincere. And I was like, okay, Kevin, yes, I'm proud. Dre looks proud. The principal's nodding his head. I'm like, yeah, Kevin, go on ahead. Because if y'all remember, Kevin's there on a scholarship. This is a big private, expensive private school. So they didn't have the money to just send him there, okay? One of his former teachers saw his potential. He saw how smart of a kid he was and thought it would be a good adjustment for him. So he's there. They pulled some strings for him. So, you know, if you're not there, if you're there on a scholarship and things had to be arranged for you, you would want to be on your P's and Q's. You wouldn't want to mess up. So fighting and doing this and that is not really helping your case. So the principal was like, listen, I appreciate your words. I understand. But our establishment has a zero tolerance policy. So you're still suspended, but we thank you. I'm just like, what was the point? Sir, this is the second time you've pissed me off, okay? You got rid of Jim's show, and now you're doing this. What is wrong with you? But I understand. And like I said earlier, I'm surprised he didn't get suspended indefinitely after that whole college tour debacle. Because, listen, ciao. But yeah, so, and Kevin made a point. He was like, well, what if I was one of these rich white kids who accidentally punched a teacher? Then what? And Dre was like, let's just go. So we're going to see. I hope that something can be arranged to where he can stay in the school or something, because I think it's a good fit for him. I mean, I don't want him to go back to the other school. No shade to the other school, but, you know, so hopefully things can be arranged. But as of right now, sorry, dog, it ain't looking too good. So more kid drama. Let's go to Maisha and Papa. Is it me, or have we not just been seeing a lot of them? I mean, I really enjoy their storyline when we get to see them, but they just been chilling. But this episode, they had their drama too. So let's get into it. So Papa's kind of feeling down and out because y'all know he has his podcast, Papa's Pulpit. And, you know, he's been reaching out to these different celebrities and things like that. And no one's reaching back to him. He's not, you know, his audience isn't as big as he would want it to be. And so Maisha's telling him, listen, the reason you started this podcast is so you could reach the local community and make a difference, not for clout and attention. So if you remain focused on the real vision, then all the other stuff will follow. So they're talking, and she tells him that she got an email from this magazine who wants to feature her. So he's excited. Well, he's happy for her, but he's not that excited. He's like, oh, that's great. And she's like, well, you know, don't blow up the balloons just yet. Are you excited or not? So he's excited, but here he was kind of feeling bad about not having a big audience. And here she is getting magazine offers because of her music and things like that, right? So during the show, with Jake and Kevin and Gemma, Maisha made a statement, and she was like, listen, just because you started in a relationship with this person doesn't mean that's your forever, okay? That doesn't mean that's going to be the person you end up with. So after the three of them left, Papa wanted to ask her, what did you mean by that when you said just because you start with someone, that doesn't mean you end with them? And she's like, listen, dog, that wasn't about us, okay? You need to stop taking things so personally, please. So we kind of saw a little, you know, rough patch with them. I was like, okay, pull it together, y'all, because y'all the only kids who are not stressing me. So please show some decorum, please. So they're at her photo shoot / interview, and she's all glammed up, feeling herself as she should, okay? Looking like a princess, just having her moment, okay? So now it's time for the sit down interview. They're asking her about her music and if she wants to have a career in it and things like that. So she's answering and having a good time. Then the interviewer asks her, where can we hear your music? And here comes Papa with his business card. You can hear it every week on Papa's Pulpit. Here you go. And the interviewer is like, is this your boo or what? Because he's right here in my face. And, you know, Papa's like, I sure am. And I was like, Papa, baby, sit back, please. And Maisha's kind of like, she's trying to save face. So they're having dinner, or they're eating, And Maisha just straight out asked him, why did you feel the need to plug your podcast during my interview? And his whole thing throughout this entire conversation was, don't you want us to uplift each other and shine together? I mean, I know it was your interview, but wouldn't you want to, put a little bit of shine on me too? And she's like, yeah, that's all great. I don't mind doing that. But this was finally a moment for me to have for myself. They reached out to me about my music, not where they can hear it on your podcast or anything like that. This wasn't about you. This was a moment that I could actually have to myself. And so he's like, so you want me to be in your shadows? And she's like, well, when I'm in your shadow or behind the scenes of your work, you have no problem. So when I want to do it for myself, now it's an issue. So they kind of agreed to disagree, more so disagree on that. And he was talking to Keisha during one scene. And Keisha asked him if he was jealous of her fame or attention. And he was like, I don't know, I might be, but is that bad? And she was like, no, that ain't bad. Like, y'all just gotta have a good conversation about it. So they end up having a conversation, right? She comes over and she's over it. She's like, we couldn't talk over FaceTime because listen. And his whole thing is, listen, to save our relationship, I think it would be best if we didn't work together, okay? So we shouldn't mix business with pleasure to save our relationship. And she's like, okay, actually, I'll do you one better. I think we in this relationship should take a break and give each other some space entirely. So yeah. And he's like, well, I don't really want that. And she's like, well, I do. See ya. I said, damn, okay, Maisha. But I understand. Listen, I understand. Sometimes you don't want to break up, but you just need a little bit of space. Some people ain't here for that whole take a break or space thing, and some people are on the other end of it. But we're gonna see if they can come back together, or is Maisha gonna blow up and leave Papa in his pulpit? We gonna see. So let's get to Tiff and Dom. I feel like we haven't seen Tiff and Dom in a good minute too. So they're having a meeting in the break room at Smokey's, which, okay. So they're kicking Emmett out his own office, and this lady comes. I don't know her name. I think Ashley or something. Listen, let me not make up names. I always do that. But she comes in, and she basically wants to offer them a business deal. She kind of wants to merge their edible business with her cannabis business or whatever. And so Tiff is here for, yes, show me the money. Let's get it. Let's go. And Dom is like, well, no, let's not jump at the first offer that someone gives us. We got to make sure that this is the real deal and that they're not going to shortchange us or whatever. And Tiff is like, girl, you are stopping the bag. They are here offering us money and you want to be stupid. And Dom is like, listen, we are two black women, in the ghetto, the hood or whatever. They probably don't think we know the ins and outs of this business. I want to make sure that we're getting paid what we're worth. So I see where Tiff is coming from, because listen, somebody comes in offering a big check to you. Oh yeah, but you got to look at the business side of it too. You want to make sure that whatever you're getting paid is what you're supposed to be getting paid. You're not getting shorted. You're not getting cheated or anything. So they have a disagreement, and later on they see, we see, hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, we see Tiff come back to Smokey's. They're not really trying to talk, but then she ends up apologizing because before she got into business with Dom, she was the one-woman show, okay? She was the weed supplier and things like that. So she was used to coordinating business deals by herself. Now that she has someone else, a business partner who has different views than her and wants to take their time, she didn't know how to adjust to it, right? So they come to, make amends. And then we see Iman Damn Shumpert come in. I'm just like, hello. What? So he comes in, and that's Hannibal's cousin, as he said. Hannibal was Brandon's cousin, if you remember. He had the big weed dispensary where Tiff got her supply from. So, she knows him, but doesn't really know him like that. So he comes in offering them a deal as well. He wants to join forces. Okay, y'all gonna get a nice percentage. You won't have to do any extra work than what you're already doing. You got an office space. It's black owned. What could go wrong? He ain't have a pen, a piece of a contract. He didn't have a lawyer. He just came in his sweatpants, honey. And they're like, yes, this is actually great. I'm just like, okay. All right. So it was so funny because, listen, Iman is fine, okay? Sorry, Tiana, but he's fine. So I was looking at him too. But Tiff and Dom were kind of checking him out. And it seemed like he was looking at Tiff. But then when Dom said something, he was looking at her too. So I don't know if this is going to drive a wedge in their business deal, fighting for him, or if it's going to be a threesome thing, or if nobody going to get him. I don't know. But honey, where's Dante? Like, where's Dante? Because we know Tiff and Emmett, they're kind of trying to work things out, I suppose, because, you know, with Jada's cancer and she's there. So did Tiff kind of just leave Dante alone and trying to focus on her family, or is she gonna go back to Dante? What's going on? I would like to know, but it ain't my business. But whatever. So, see, I be making my notes and then I be forgetting the order that I go in, like the storylines I do next. So when I see the names, I just be like, drama. Do you understand me? All right, so let's get into it. We got Jada, Dre, Nina, and LaPortia. That's all I can do. That's all I can do, y'all. Just because what have I been saying these past few episodes? Nina, I hope you don't do nothing stupid because you think Dre out here cheating on you, and then it turns out you the only cheater. And guess what happened, y'all? She did something stupid, and now she's the only cheater. I have to chuckle. But anyway, so like I said earlier, Nina is stressed, okay? Everybody in that damn house has her stressed out. Kevin and his behavior, Dre and her behavior. She feeling some type of way about the baby. I don't know. She's just over it, okay? So Dre is counseling Jamal. If you remember Vic Mensa, when he made his appearance, he was arguing with his girlfriend and things like that about the OnlyFans and blah, blah, blah. So we finally see Dre doing her career. I promise you, I feel like I have never seen Dre do any type of counseling. Maybe one time last season, maybe, but I just feel like I never saw Dre do her job. But anyway, she's counseling Jamal and his family, which is his girlfriend and his little sister, Lene. So they're still bickering and arguing. And it was so funny because there was one part where the girl was like, I wish he would check his phone and contact me better and get better with his contact and stuff like that and communication. Here comes Dre talking about, well, Jamal, do you think you can do better with communicating and checking your phone and stuff like that? Oh, Dre, you want to tell somebody to check their phone and do better at communicating? All right, girl, shut up. So the girlfriend's explaining what she expects out of him. Jamal's explaining what he expects out of her. And the little sister is over it. She was like, I just want them to stop arguing all the damn time. So they try to talk a little bit and then they end up arguing again. And then Lene, she storms out and she bumps into Kevin. And Emmett was talking about, you know, Kev, the best way to get over somebody. So we are going to see Kevin and Lene kind of make a little connection because, listen, I don't want to say Kev is coming from a troubled home, but he does have a lot of things going on that's troubling him. So he has this going on, and then Lene, she's coming from a toxic household and things like that. So we're going to see them connect. Is it going to be a friendship, a budding relationship? I don't know, but it's going to be cute. And so where we at? Oh, and Tip. Now, these next few things I kind of put out of order just so I can save the big shebang for last. But yeah, Tiff and Emmett were at Jada's taking care of her, talking about all the business deals and things they all got going on. And they were all about to leave, but then Emmett saw how sick she was, so he stayed behind and stayed with her. Then Swade came over and he had went grocery shopping or something for her. So he's putting out the stuff, and I don't want to say he looked upset, but we remember he did tell her that he loved her, and she didn't really say it back. I mean, she expressed how she cares for him, but she didn't really say that she loved him until now. She stopped him and she told him that he loved her too. It was just so sweet. And we did see this moment where Jada was taking down her braids and her hair is falling out, and I was just like, Lord. Listen, all I know is Jada better come out of this alive, okay? She's gonna beat this. Listen, Lena, if she doesn't beat this, yeah. Anyway, okay. So now let's get to the shebang. Let's get to it. Okay, so Dre is at Jada's house. Okay, it's nighttime. They're sitting on the porch or whatever. And Dre is like, when can I tell Nina, dog? And my thing is, before we get any further, at this point, Dre, you should have been told Nina. If you're seeing the damage it's causing your wife and your marriage just by holding on to this secret, Jada would just had to understand, listen, I'm not trying to get a divorce, okay? I'm not trying to have my wife out here thinking that I'm cheating on her, I'm doing something suspicious, because I'm not. I just need to tell her, you know? And so Jada, and going to Jada, listen, you told Dre that you didn't want Dre to tell Nina, one, because Nina got a big mouth, and two, you didn't want anyone to know before you told Emmett. Well, Emmett knows, okay? Emmett knows, Tiff knows, Swade knows, everybody knows, okay? And it's so funny because you wanted Emmett to be the first person, and he wasn't the first person because Swade knew before him. So my thing is, why are you holding Dre hostage still? I understand everybody has things going on. You don't want to be a burden. You don't want a pity party. You don't want Nina telling everybody. But if you're seeing that that is causing a wedge between your friend and her wife, then you just need to, you just got to understand, sis. You really just have to understand. So I understand you don't want, you're tired, because she did say she's tired of being strong for Dre and Suede and Emmett and herself. She's tired emotionally. I understand. But yeah, I'm sorry, Jada. Listen, you would have just had to be mad at me. I gotta tell my wife, okay? Dre, she would have had to understand. But anyway, so Jada's crying. Of course, Dre's holding her and consoling her. And so Nina calls, okay? And Dre ignores the call per usual. And so the camera just pans down the street. And I said, Nina better not be in the car watching them. And guess what, y'all? Nina was in the car watching them. I said, ain't this a biscuit? So she's calling Dre and she sees them together and things like that. And then we see that Dre texts Nina, hey, it's going to be another late meeting. I'm sorry, I'll be home late, whatever. So Nina's like, excuse me. She's like, okay, great. So my thing is, this is the only question I have, because I don't know if it's been hinted in the show at any point, or if there's like an unspoken or just one of those things that maybe happened back in the day at school where Jada dabbled with a woman. But if Nina were to seriously just ask herself, does Jada even like women? If the answer is no, then we can stop with the scenario, sis. So she's just feeling betrayed and hurt, and obviously she can't see that Jada's crying, but all she sees is them just kind of holding each other. And my thing is this also: if Dre were cheating on you with Jada or anyone, do you think she would be sitting outside doing this, just embracing and showing PDA outside? Like, if you're gonna be a cheater, you need to be discreetly doing stuff in back alleyways, not in the front of the street. Girl, Nina, you acting goofy. And it's just like the energy you put into following Dre and scoping her out, and yet when Kevin was going through his thing and you had nothing to give except for, if you want to fuck up your own life, go ahead, I don't care. Nina, sis. Anyway, so Nina's at the bar, honey. She's sipping her Henny, and we're seeing someone kind of stare her down in the distance, and then turns out it's La Portia, played by Da Brat, okay? So Da Brat makes her way over to Nina, and she's spitting game. You alone? What you doing? What you sipping on? What's good? You trying to get up out of here? What you doing? Ooh, I love a woman who can handle her liquor, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, Da Brat, please. Side note, listen, Da Brat is gorgeous, okay? Have y'all really just looked at her? She is gorgeous. Anyway, so they're flirting, and Nina's just kind of giving her bedroom eyes, sipping her Henny. And, they make their way up out of there, and fast forward to them getting it on to Anita Baker. I said, Anita, you're damaging marriages here. But they getting it on. Nina's getting ate out by Da Brat, okay? And I'm just like, all right, great. So Nina comes home. She's stumbling because she's low-key drunk, and she just had a great experience with Da Brat. So she stumbles upstairs and stuff like that, and Dre sit on the bed like, girl, where you been? I was trying to return your call. And Nina kind of shrugs her off. I'm about to get in the shower. So Dre is telling her, listen, you can't keep checking out. We need to talk. There's some things going on. And Nina's like, listen, dog, I'm tired of all these antics and this charade. I saw you with with Jada, okay? You ain't got to lie. So Dre's like, you follow me? Oh, don't change the subject, B. Okay, I saw you. Okay, so what's going on? Just tell me the truth. So Dre realizes now she has no choice but to tell Nina what's going on. And she breaks down crying. And Nina's like, girl, what the hell's wrong with you? And so Dre's breaking down crying, and she reveals to Nina that Jada has cancer. So of course Nina rushes by her wife's side and is hugging her, and she just keeps saying, fuck, I'm sorry, fuck. 3% of that was because she feels bad about Jada's situation. The other 97% is her saying fuck because she just realized she fucked up. So they sleeping. Well, Dre's sleeping, okay, because she finally got that off her chest. And Nina's feeling like shit because she just cheated on her wife. So Nina, I told you not to do nothing stupid. I told you not to do nothing stupid. I told her. Everyone told her, but So then real quick with Trig and Imani. So Imani really ain't talking to Trig like that because of all the things that's been going on with Trinity and the trap house and Nuck and just his viewpoints and things like that. So he's trying to talk to her. She's not really here for it. And she tells him, listen, I just feel like you don't believe in the things that I believe in. We're not on the same page. And, you know, because I like Trig. Trig's a really good dude. But his mindset and viewpoints when it comes to certain things like sex trafficking and those girls in the trap house and maybe even the LGBTQ community, he's kind of closed-minded. You know, he's not really open to expanding his viewpoints on it. He has his set ways, and that's kind of, you know, an issue because, of course, Imani is a trans woman. She has history with, you know, sex trafficking, you know, things like that. So those things are really, you know, it's a situation where things that are really passionate to her aren't really a big deal to him. It's kind of driving a wedge between them. So he apologized for that. He's saying he's getting better and he's working on it, and he wants them to move together as a unit. So they make up. I was like, thank you. One couple. That's all we need. One couple. Thank you. So they, you know, make up, and then they end up picking Duda up once he's released from the hospital, which is a shock to everybody because but they let him know, listen, us helping you out going forward is going to come with a price, so get ready. I said, girl, what y'all want from him? Oh, Lord. Okay. Let's get to Keisha, Christian, and Octavia, and the baby, and just... so this was another big fan prediction theory that Keisha was probably going to want her baby back, y'all. We gonna see. So Keisha is back at work, and I just want to know the time frame. How long did she have the baby? I know this everything that's going on is a month. Like, this is a month time span because the very first episode it panned to 1 month earlier. So we know everything is a month, you know, going on. But how long ago did she have this baby? Because sis is back at work like she ain't did nothing. So she's at work, and Christian comes up to her, talking to her like, hey, how you been? I haven't seen you. And she's like, yeah, I have some things going on. So he's asking her what the gender of the baby is, and she says it's a boy. So that was our first time hearing that it was a boy. So I was like, oh, that's cute. And then he's asking her, so what'd you name him? And she's like, oh, his new mom is gonna name him. And that's when he realized, oh, that wasn't true. But oh, I get it, I'm sorry. And she's like, it's okay, because you didn't know. So we know he likes her, and you know she's liking him too, but I don't think she wants to rush into anything, which is smart. But he wants to take her on a date. So at first she's like, well, how you know I ain't got no man? Like, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know that, but I got faith that, you know, things can be arranged for us. So they end up exchanging numbers and things like that. So this is gonna be cute. So she's in her room pumping her breast milk, and honey. And so she gets up and she's just looking at her belly, you know, it's going down. And then she looks at the old high school photo when she ran track and things like that. So she's trying to, you know, go back to her life, you know, to a time in her life where things were normal. She was running her track. She was about to go off to college. She was that girl, you know what I'm saying? So she calls Christian and she agrees to go to dinner with him. So she's like, where are you going to take me? And he says, oh, well, I had an idea. I want to cook for you and things like that. So she thinks the idea is cute, but she lets him know she's nervous about being in a stranger's home right now. He completely understands. And he's like, well, let's go to Smokey's. I'm just like, I'm tired of going to Smokey's. Listen. I know in certain shows where there's like the hangout spot, you know, like the Den on Moesha or the Chill Grill on Nassau Haven. I understand, okay? And Dale's on the Parkers. I understand every sitcom or series has that set location where everybody meets up, but I'm tired of Smokey's. I know we have other restaurants on that side of town. I know we have more restaurants. Smokey's is the reason why my good sis had Braxton Hicks. We don't need to go to Smokey's. Anyway. Sorry, I just had to vent because I'm tired of Smokey's. Smokey's this, Smokey's that, Smokey's. Because wasn't nobody going there that much when it was Sonny's place. Let me hush. But anyway, so they're there, they're talking. And again, they really have a lot in common because they're both athletes and they both had these promising futures ahead of them, but something happened. He got hurt and she went through what she went through, which prevented them from going to the NBA or running track and things like that. So they're bonding over that. And she was telling him, you know, there's always going to be a part of me that's afraid. And so he reaches over trying to hold her hand and she kind of jumps back. So she's breathing hard. She's kind of having an anxiety attack. And so he's helping her through a deep breathing. I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm going to be more careful with your personal space and things like that. So she's back good. And then they go get some cupcakes. We love a cupcake. So cute. Okay. So she's at church. Okay. Papa's daddy's church. I'm trying to figure out they just brushing over this whole Papa's daddy situation like the nigga ain't go to jail. Anyway, I digress. So an old friend of hers, she's there with her fiance and the baby for like a ceremony for the baby. And so afterwards, she's talking to her old friend, and her friend is saying, you know, girl, I never thought my life would be like this, but I love it. Okay, I'm so content. I feel good. Life is boring, you know, compared to how it used to be with all the partying and stuff. But Greg is such a great dad. I love being a mom. I'm just so happy. So Keisha is seeing how life is working out for her friend, who they're the same age. She has her baby, her fiance. She's seeing how life is working out for them. So that's putting another emotional moment in her head as well. So and then Papa is talking to her and tells her that everything's gonna be okay and all that good stuff. So Octavia comes over, child. Octavia, girl. Okay. So Octavia comes over to get some things from Keisha, and she's trying to get the baby to stop crying. My good sis looked stressed, okay? She was looking like she was 2 seconds away from saying, please shut the fuck up. That's how she was looking. But anyway, so she's rocking a little car seat. Come on, do, you know. And the baby just won't stop crying. So Keisha was like, well, my mom used to turn a vacuum on for us whenever we were crying, and that always distracted us. So maybe you should try that. And I'm just like, not the child telling you what to do, Octavia says. So Octavia, and this was a funny moment to me, I don't know why, but Octavia was like, well, won't that hurt the baby's ears? And Keisha was like, well, I hear perfectly fine. Octavia looked at her like, don't get cute, don't get funny. But anyway, so, you know, doing all that type of stuff, woo, woo, woo. And Keisha asked him, so have you named him yet? And Octavia's like, not yet. I'm hoping a name will come to my mind. I said, this is exactly what I need to know. How long has it been since this baby has been born? Because for one, I would be crying too if I didn't have a name. And two, Octavia, you went through all of this, okay? You went through all of this to make sure you got this baby, okay? You were willing to lie about your marriage. You and your husband put on this whole front and all this other type of stuff. And you ain't even got a name picked out. Talking about, I hope it comes to my mind. Who are you, Raven Baxter? You trying to have a vision? Because, ma'am, at this point, I'm not sure how long it's been since the baby's been born, but girl, these are things that women do, okay? I don't have kids just yet, but I'll be doggone if I don't have a notebook with names like for girl and boy names. Like, that's just things that we think about, you know, wedding plans and, you know, stuff like that, baby names. That's just something. You ain't have one in the archives? Okay, Octavia, I'm just saying you went through all this and you finally got the baby and you ain't even got a name. All right, my good sis. So Keisha's just kind of looking and things like that. And Octavia notices how she's looking. And she's like, well, do you want to hold him? Now, I'm not really sure how all the adoption process goes. I'm not really sure about that. But it just seems like a lot of contact, okay, between the birth mother and the baby boy. It just seems like a lot of contact. And I thought during the whole process, you want to limit the amount of contact that the birth mother has with the child because you don't want to create that bond and things like that. So she's pumping the breast milk, she's holding the baby, she's doing this. And I'm just like, Octavia, do you want the baby? Because we're not doing things smoothly right now. So she's noticing how Keisha's looking, offers to let her hold the baby. And Keisha's holding him and she's crying, but she kind of has her head turned so Octavia won't see that she's crying. And Octavia was kind of looking, she was looking at Keisha and then she was looking at the baby. So I'm not sure if she was putting two and two together like, dang. Or if she was like, okay, girl, don't get too comfortable. I don't know, we're gonna see. So she was talking to Christian on the phone, and she was talking about how she held her baby and how amazing it felt and things like that. And we saw this cute moment, it was really, really sweet, between Kev and Keisha. When they were talking, he was telling her how he's gonna get his life back on track and stuff like that. And they were talking, and he was like, I got something for you. So he handed her this box, and it had the cutest little baby sneakers. And you could tell that it's really tugged at her heartstrings. It was so cute. It was really good to see them have a brother-sister moment, aside from like the bickering and the arguing, but like a really true bonding moment. Just really, really sweet. So she goes downstairs. Nina's drowning her sorrows in alcohol this early in the morning. And she basically tells Nina, girl, I want my baby back. Nina looked at her like, girl, please shut up talking to me. I ain't got, listen, you were the one part of the stress that was kind of going away because you got rid of the baby. Now you want to bring him back? Girl, please get out my face. I ain't got time. I just cheated on my wife. Your brother out here acting stupid, punching teachers. And now you want this damn baby back in the house? Girl, Nina wasn't worth a damn at that moment. She was over it. So everyone's predictions that said Keisha wants her baby back have come true. honey, we're gonna see how that works, but So then lastly, honey, we got Duda, Rose, and Tracy. So like I said the last episode when we saw him get shot, I was like, please don't drag this until the very last episode. Show us who killed him. Boy, they said previously on the Shy, bam, big reveal. I said, damn, give me time to get comfortable, but I was here for it. So it was none other than Laverne, aka Brandon and Coogie's mama, honey. I was like, and now I saw a lot of people saying this would be a good return for Reg or Brandon to, get revenge on him and things like that. A lot of people were saying it could be Rose or Tracy or Marcus or Trig, someone who's already on the show. I saw quite a few theories where they said Brandon's mom. I saw that too. But honey, when we saw that it was her, I was like, wow. Now, where she messed up at, okay? She thought she killed him, okay? And she thought she succeeded in killing him. So instead of making sure the job was done, sis wanted to give her For Colored Girls Tyler Perry poem monologue. I'm killing you because you took precious things from my life. You don't deserve to walk around like you some damn hero. You still ain't shit. So I'ma kill you to make sure you won't get shit else. I'm like, can you make sure he's dead first before you go into your spiel, please? Like, girl, he can still be breathing. He's looking at you, okay? Like, girl, you ain't got no mask on. You just here like, yes, motherfucker, it was me. And what you gonna do about it? I'm killing you because you killed my son and I'm getting revenge. You ain't no hero. I don't care if you was the president. You still ain't worth nothing. And I'm gonna make sure you dead. Well, can you actually make sure he's dead before walking off? Because she said all that and walked off. I said, Laverne, I hope you was catching a flight to Puerto Rico somewhere because, girl, if you still roaming the streets of Chicago thinking he dead, then you make sure the job is done. Like, make sure you finish him off before, talking to him. That's just me. So Rose is on the roof. She's crying and screaming, and he gets rushed to the hospital. There was one point where it seemed like, damn, he ain't gonna make it, but he makes it. So, listen, they knew better than to kill dude off. They knew better. So, Rose at the hospital, stressed and worried and stuff like that. So, eventually, time goes on. He gets better, and she's talking to him. And he tells her that he tells Rose that Laverne shot him. And she's like, well, why the hell would he do that? And she's like, because of her son. And she's like, who, Brandon? Did you get him killed or something? He's like, yeah, I had to because he was in contact with the feds. So I had to do what I had to do. And Rose is over it. Now, some people said during a little interaction that Rose was recording him to get, just have something to go against him with. And I don't know if she was recording him or what. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. Excuse me. So Rose is there, and someone brings her some. Well, first he's kind of looking around, like kind of sitting up and looking like he's looking for somebody in particular, aka Tracy. So Rose peeps and she's like, "You looking for Tracy? Come in," because somebody knocks on the door. So she's over it, and this person brings her some official mayor papers. Okay, here you go, Mrs. Perry. Please call me Rose. Please, I'm about to divorce this nigga. Please call me by my first name. And so he's looking like, sis, you do realize I'm not dead. I am still the mayor. She's like, yeah, that's great. I know you're gonna get out of here soon. That's wonderful. That's gonna be a great story. But until then, I'm gonna handle the business that you should have handled and the way you should have handled it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay. So she's holding this press conference outside the hospital, and she's basically saying, listen, all this propaganda and all this media coverage trying to paint him to be the bad guy, all this energy that y'all are putting into Mayor Perry to be the bad guy, y'all should be putting the same energy into trying to figure out who did this to him. So someone said, is that an official statement from the mayor's office? She said, bitch, when you talking to me, you are talking to the mayor's office. Anyway, I know people upset about defunding the police, but it had to be done for our community, okay? So someone says, well, what about the good cops? Where do you think they should be? And she says, listen, their complacency and silence will not be ignored, okay? If you're a good cop, you should be standing on this side with us. Either stand over here or get run over. Bow. I said, ooh, ooh, ooh. I said, Candy, I know that's right. You better deliver that line. And she walked off. I said, come on, girl, go ahead. So then Tracy finally comes to the hospital holding these papers, and she just looks disgusted. And she's like, listen, our request for the approval of this money for my organization got denied by the mayor's office. So do you even believe in what I'm standing for in my organization, or are you just using me around to fuck? And he says nothing. Now, I think he really likes Tracy, okay? And obviously she likes him too because her feelings hurt. But I think he was silent because he was probably putting two and two together, like, listen, Rose has this control now, okay? And so and I'm pretty sure those papers that Rose got earlier was those same papers probably, but you know, he's probably realizing Rose did this, denied the request for Tracy's organization to get that money, but it looks like it's coming from him because he's the mayor. So Tracy says, just relax, but he said nothing, and she was like, I thought so, and she stormed off. So we're gonna see where this relationship goes, because but yeah, that's it for the episode. But I do have a few questions to ask you guys and things like that. So when it comes to Kev and Jake, do y'all see their friendship ever getting back on track? Because in my opinion, from the first episode, we saw their relationship kind of go downhill because of the whole police brutality situation. So we never really saw them have a good conversation about that. Jake had it in his mind that Kevin wasn't there for him. He didn't stand up for him the way he would have liked. And so we never really saw them get over that. And now this whole Gemma situation is just another fuel added to the fire. So, you know, do y'all ever see them being mended, you know, their friendship being mended? And what about Christian? Do y'all think he's a good guy for Keisha? For one, do y'all think Keisha needs to be dating right now? I mean, she just had this baby, so now she can finally try to go back to some type of normalcy in her life, hopefully go back to school, run track, date, and stuff like that. Do y'all think she needs to be worried about dating right now? Do y'all think Christian is a good dude? Do y'all think he's a Christian? But a lot of people are like, nah, it's something about him I don't like him. I said he only had 2 lines. What he do? But they think he related to the kidnapper. I still think Octavia related to the kidnapper. Listen, the kidnapper, even though he dead, he got family somewhere, child. But some people are like, we're not here for Christian. He's too nice. I'm like, okay. And then speaking of Octavia, now up to this point, Octavia has been the sweetest. She's been the nicest character on this show, right? I mean, just so sweet. Hello there. Yeah. But now Keisha wants her baby back. And like I said, Octavia went through all of that, okay? And in her words, I just wanted a child for a very long time. So she went through all that to make sure she got in good graces with Keisha. Just for Keisha to say she wants the baby back? Is she still gonna be nice and cool, calm, and collected, or are we gonna see her snap and go off? Please let her snap and go off. Please, I want to see it. Anyway, but I want to know how she's going to respond. And where her husband at? I feel like we need to see a scene with her and her husband, because I still don't trust him. I need to get some more backstory on him. Because if you remember in the very first episode, Mark, Octavia's husband, he said we went through this process before and it didn't quite work out so well. So it's making me realize or wonder, what the hell does that mean? Like, y'all went through this before? Meaning what? You know what, we know she's had miscarriages, okay, but this whole adopting process, he said it never really quite went out so well or worked out so well. What does that mean? Like, y'all got the baby and then they want the baby back, or they changed their mind at the very last minute? What does that mean? Because this seems like to be a routine pattern. So has she, I mean, that would be a good reason for Octavia to snap. She's gone through this time and time again and it never works out. Octavia, girl, don't go crazy, but go crazy, but don't go crazy. Oops. So Nina, child, how long do y'all think Nina can go before telling Dre what happened? Because we see she's drowning her sorrows and her guilt with alcohol, and we see in the next episode, the preview, she's acting kind of jumpy and strange when talking to Dre. So do y'all think she's finally gonna confess this next episode, or is she gonna try and hide it, act like everything is cool? And what about LaPortia? Do y'all think that was the first and only time we're gonna see her, or do y'all think, you know, LaPortia gonna be trying to slither back like, hey, what's good, hey, how you doing, and it's gonna be some drama? I don't know, but Dre, girl, get ready, because a bomb is finna head your oasis. And lastly, did Laverne have help in, you know, executing this killing with Duda? Or because how did she know he was going to go up to the roof? Because that wasn't something that he just made publicly known, okay? He extended the invitation for Tracy to join him, and she said, yeah, I'll be up there after I shake a few hands first. So was one of the hands Laverne? Like, did she put that bug in his ear or her ear? Like, okay, girl, he about to go up to the roof. Let's go. Because again, if you peeped, when Duda turned around before getting shot, it's like he looked over here. He was like, hey, how you doing? What's good? And then he looked over here. Was like, oh, snap. Boom, got shot. So it's making me wonder, who would he be looking at like that? Like the, hey, what's up? it could have been Rose, because for one, their conversation prior to him getting shot, she wanted to be on his administration team. He said, bitch, please. So I don't think he would be smiling at her like that. Couldn't be Marcus like that, because, you know, their conversation before going to the roof, you know, Marcus wants his credits. He wants his just due. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. And, you know, Duda had to let him know again, I don't owe you nothing. So I don't think he would be looking at Marcus like, hey, buddy, well, that's good. Who else? The only person who I think he would just be looking like excited to see would be Tracy, because he told her that he was going to be on the roof and he wanted her to join him. So it's kind of like, and you know, in the earlier seasons, we did see Laverne and Tracy have a connection. They were in that group because, you know, they both lost their sons and things like that. So I don't know. I mean, do y'all think it was a one-woman job, or do y'all think Laverne had some help and finding out that he was going to be on the roof? I don't know. But hey, this is just intense and emotional, and I just feel like a whole bunch of people are gonna snap and go crazy, and I'm ready. But I am disappointed because we won't see what happens for another 2 weeks, okay? July 11th is when we will see the next episode, because 4th of July falls on a Sunday, this upcoming Sunday. So y'all know how they get with the 4th of July, child. We can't see nothing. So we gotta wait till July 11th, and I'm super bummed because, listen, episode 7 better have me on the ground. Do you understand? If I gotta wait 2 weeks, I better be on the ground. But anyway, this is a very, very good episode. Episode 6, Candyman, child. So let me know what y'all think, and I will catch y'all on the next video. I love y'all. Bye.